Hello everyone, my name is Donahue and I work for the Maine Department of Marine Resources in the Division of Marine Mammal Research. And I'm going to give an introduction to the Maine Innovative Gear Library. There has been a lot of groundwork happening over the last year to get us to the point of being able to begin testing on-demand gear through DMR. There are just a few things that I especially wanted to highlight here today. Last fall, the Gear Library started in earnest with a donation of 14 units of on-demand gear from the Nature Conservancy. DMR was also able to begin website development on alternative gear research and the library itself. With funding from the Consolidated Appropriations Act, we were able to begin purchasing on-demand gear in the winter of 2024. We also submitted our experimental fishing permit and our Maine special license as well, with the EFB being issued in the spring. Also in the spring of 2024, our outreach program for the Gear Library was started when our funding from NIFWIF was acquired. As the gear started to arrive at DMR, we began doing gear demos and trainings with our outreach partners, DMR staff, manufacturers, and fishermen. Over the summer, we combined our EFP for 50 vessels with the previous EFP that Kevin Staples held for testing timed and spring release gear to total 65 potential participants. We received another donation of gear from Sustainable Fisheries Partnership and established gear hubs in Addison, Maine with Sunrise County Economic Council, Stonington with Maine Center for Coastal Fisheries, at DMR in Booth Bay Harbor, and in Brunswick with Maine Coast Fishermen's Association. This past summer, gear testing and data collection started with participants. Training, demos, and outreach will continue through the end of the project, and we will be increasing our outreach through the fall and into the winter as well in different avenues. Similar to other programs running trials and testing of on-demand gear, here are some of the basic goals we set forth for the Maine Innovative Gear Library. We really aim to increase access of on-demand and other experimental fishing gear for testing in different communities along the coast. We want to develop resources within the community to support participation, distribution, training, and data collection through our gear hubs. Hopefully create a community of users who will continue the evaluation of these technologies in yet to be identified ways. Collect data on system performance, provide feedback to manufacturers from fishermen input, engage with Marine Patrol on the use and impact of on-demand systems, and engage in conversations on regulatory pathways into fishing in areas closed to vertical lines. The testing structure of the Maine Innovative Gear Library is as follows. We loan 2 units of on-demand or other alternative gear to each participant. We maintain 1 end line through testing with hybrid trawl configurations. We collect data on time spent locating, retrieving, and resetting gear. We collect data on environmental factors. We also provide onboard training and support, and we do compensate our participants for their time and for their data. Currently, the Gear Library has 85 acoustic release units, 21 spring release, and 21 timed release units. I am actively expanding the library with different technologies and more units as our program expands and participation increases. Data output and considerations for our work include quantifying the risk reduction of each gear type, examining where and at what scale these alternatives may be operational, evaluating the impact of alternative gear use on time spent deploying and retrieving traps, collecting data on typical and on-demand gear configurations, collecting data on which systems may work better in different areas along the coast, and collecting data on safety aspects and concerns from fishermen. At the time that this presentation was created, we had 8 active lobster fishery participants testing through the gear library, with 8 more in the process of onboarding. We had 134 acoustic retrievals, 40 spring release, and 34 timed release retrievals. The map here shows where active participants and all of this testing is occurring, where the gear hubs for the library are located, and where new participants will be starting soon. This also highlights the need for extended outreach down east and the importance of our gear hubs in these regions. That brings me into the other aspect of our work, which focuses around outreach. The DMR is lucky to be partnered with 6 amazing organizations through our NIFWIF grant who work in different areas of the coast and are immersed in the communities in which they work in. These 6 organizations are the Maine Sea Grant, Sunrise County Economic Council, Maine Center for Coastal Fisheries, the Island Institute, Maine Coast Fishermen's Association, and the Gulf of Maine Lobster Foundation. 4 locations serve as gear hubs for the support, training, and supplies for participating fishermen. What we're focusing on with the around on-demand fishing in Maine so that there can be open and constructive feedback and collaboration. We want to reiterate that if on-demand gear is going to be successful as a tool for Maine fishermen to gain access to areas closed to vertical lines, we will need their input. The NIFWIF project will also focus on qualitative data collection to try and capture the experience of participants, the barriers or resistance to different gear types, expenditures and modifications to typical fishing operations to avoid gear conflict as well. We have a partner meeting in November where we'll be discussing upcoming outreach plans, but from the DMR side, we will be expanding the website for more visual and tangible information on different gear types, attending and speaking at the Maine Lobster Advisory Council and Lobster Zone Council meetings, continuing to attend and engage in town hall, conferences, and forums. We'll be adding information into various newsletters, and we'll have a booth at the Maine Fishermen's Forum in 2025, as well as continuing gear demonstrations. I appreciate your time, and I want to continue to acknowledge our outreach partners, National Fish and Wildlife Foundation, NOAA Fisheries for their continued collaboration, and for our donations from the Nature Conservancy and Sustainable Fisheries Partnership. Thank you.